Hey, what's going on, good people? Today we're going to be talking about IEPs, Individualized Education Plans. Hey, what's going on, good people? It's your boy James Harris, founder of a movement called Mental Heal, which focuses on men's overall wellness, their mental health, physical health, and of course their emotional health. And I'm also the author of a book called Man Just Express Yourself, which is an interactive planner guide for boys and men to better express themselves. I definitely appreciate all the partners who went out and got this tool for their significant other. You're doing these activities over date nights or just giving it to them, let them give you back feedback or information. I definitely appreciate that. And of course, I praise and salute the parents who got this book for their young ones. Thank you. And of course, my fellow clinicians, I definitely appreciate you for having this as a tool in your lobby or using these as an intervention within your sessions. I definitely appreciate that. So if you're new here, make sure you like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment if you need to. I definitely appreciate reading your comments or emails or inboxes. If you got a topic you want me to cover, definitely let me know, and I'll definitely put that on my list. But today we're talking about IEPs because, of course, people are back in school, and I think since I was in school, the IEP process has definitely changed. Having an IEP or having reduced classes or whatever were looked at as a derogatory statement, but now, since I've graduated and things have changed drastically, a lot of people are taking advantage of IEPs or special requirements for that school because these things can follow you and they can be at your benefit too. And you can get accommodations on tests. You can not get put out of school for reprimands and so many different things. So I cover all that. So to get started though, IEP is an individualized education program in which the documents the development for a public school child who is eligible for special education or special needs, depending. The IEP is created throughout a team effort and reviewed within once a year. It can be reviewed multiple times throughout the year if something has changed or if the parent requested or the teacher requested. But typically, it's just go year to year. Before an IEP can be written, your child must meet the eligibility requirements for special needs. By federal law, of course, this would happen with a multidisciplinary team, and they must determine collaboratively that your child has a disability or requires special education and related to the services and benefits that the program offer. And again, these can be it's a federal law pretty much. The Individual with Disabilities Act, which is the acronym IDEA, which is a federal law that requires certain information to be included in the IEP, but doesn't specify how the IEP should work. So within that, you got an IEP team. The team members, of course, again, it can be a multidisciplinary team who write your child IEP. And on this team, it can be you, which is the parent, of course. Your child can have access to the information because you as the parent have this valuable information because you got the most insight. You know about your child's strengths, you know the needs, you know the ideas and what can enhance your child's education or reduce certain behaviors, of course. And of course, the teacher, because they're the educators, they're probably with your child day to day unless they switch classes and things. So that's why they're beneficial, who can share the information about their classroom expectations and how your child normally performs within a classroom environment. A special education teacher can definitely be there as well because they got training and experience in educating the child with disabilities and what to look forward to and can assist you in educating and creating a plan that can accommodate this specific child. Individual who can interpret the results of your child evaluation to use to help this plan appropriately for the program. So for me, I've sat in as a clinician, as a therapist, as a counselor. I've sat in on these meetings with my parents just to ensure that they were able to comprehend the information that was being discussed on the IEPs or making sure they weren't rushed into certain decisions, and I wanted to be there too to advocate and let them know their rights. Realistically, parents work multiple jobs or got multiple children, so when they got to this meeting, a lot of things probably went over their head. So for me, I was just there to ensure that they understood the process and what they were signing and what they were, offering suggestions and things like that. So a representative of the school system who knows about special education services and have the authority to commit certain resources, you definitely want them there. Individuals with knowledge of special education expertise that your child can be invited not only from your school district but an outsider. Like if you hired a consultant as a parent, you can do that. They can be there. Representatives from transitional services agencies, you can have them people there as well. Your child, of course, when appropriate, depending on their age, depending on their cognitive comprehension level, you can have them there again to advocate for themselves. The different components or the contents of an IEP can vary, but for the most part, it'll be structured over and over based on a year. But of course, your child might meet certain milestones throughout this year, and then you can adjust, or they may need to add or reduce some different goals within that plan. The IEP is a document that is designed to meet your child's unique educational needs. It is not a contract, so of course, is nothing guaranteed or necessary to support the services that are agreed upon and written with your child. So present different levels of education within this plan. Information about your child, of course, again, their strengths, their needs, anything that presented by the parent, the teacher, any other school staff who may probably evaluated your child within that setting. Comments, of course, will be made during the classroom, depending on what it is, or how they were. So observations and results of the state district-wide tests and other special education evaluations, all of those things are definitely taken in consideration, including the standardized tests. Those things can be reviewed as well. Besides the academic needs, any other area concerns have been identified, such as the language development, such as behavior issues, social skills. You want to ensure that you are discussing all those things as well, because like I alluded to earlier, your child can be have multiple siblings at home, or your child can just act out in the school setting because of anxiety, or because they're bored, because they could be advanced, or they could have special needs. So it all depends. But you want to understand those things. You want to have different goals as well. The next step to write the ISP is, of course, measurable goals that your child can reasonably accomplish within a single school year. We got to understand that the school year is different based on where you are. So some start earlier, some start later. And of course, now with this COVID situation, some are probably in a hybrid situation, online, virtual type, or in person, or a variation. So you definitely want to take that in consideration as well. Goals are based on what has discussed and documented in the present level of the education performance, and focus on the needs and results from the disability that was established. So goals should help him or her be involved in the process of the general curriculum, within the academics, within our social skills, within our behavior skills, and this can also include self-help or address other educational needs. So it could be a math issue, it could be a science issue, or it could be a behavior issue. So those things are different components within the IEP, but within specific goals, you can address those specific goals. It can be a behavior goal, it can be an educational goal. Goals are not written to maintain skills or to help him or her achieve above grade level. You want to, of course, meet them where they are. So as a parent, your role in the meeting is sometimes you may feel overwhelmed just being in that meeting. When they attend the IEP meeting, so many people are there, you might feel uncomfortable because you don't know what to expect. You don't know if these people are going to label your child. Like all of those things, of course, all of those feelings are natural as well. That's why earlier I said that you can have a consultant there of your choosing, just so you can feel comfortable with articulating or understanding this information that they're giving you. So that's the purpose, and that's one of the reasons why I used to go to the IEP meetings with my clients, just to assist the parents and of course their client. But don't take it too personal, because the time go by quickly. Although you may feel rushed within that meeting, they normally schedule them back to back, so it'll seem like they're trying to get you up out of there. But of course, they want what's best for you and your child. So hopefully, you are in a district or at a school at least who will, want what's best for you and your child. So they're going to be talking a lot of education jargon. It may be hard to understand, so don't be surprised, but just continue to participate and talk to that consultant that you got there with you, or that counselor, therapist, or that individual that you have there with you that can understand what they're talking about. Just make sure that you do whatever you need to do to reduce your anxiety, increase your participation, and facilitate the process, because you want to be active. You want your child to be active too, because again, this is something that can follow them and assist them with getting accommodations throughout the school year. Communicate regularly with the staff at the school so that you'll have an idea of what the teachers are saying, what the other school administrators are saying. Those things are definitely important. And you probably want to mention what's taking place in the home within reason. So if the behaviors in the home have reduced or increased, you want to relay that, because they can say, oh, well, in school they have reduced or increased as well. So all of those things are important, and all of those things tie back to your young one. You also, as a parent, want to definitely prepare your thoughts before the meeting. And I would suggest just writing down different questions that you may think you'll have, important things that you want to point out, or you want them to know about your specific child. If you would like, ask for information that includes your child IEP. So more than likely they'll give you a copy, but you definitely want to ensure that you're getting a copy, whether that's, I would suggest taking one in hand and getting them to email you one. So you'll have at least two, but the email one, of course, you can always stroll back and have that. The one that you get in hand, you may lose it or damage, let's say some spill on it. You want to have that one copy. So that's why I would suggest two. So it's up to you though. So take someone with you who will serve as support. Again, your child therapist or counselor may want to go. Your aunt or uncle was in education like years ago. They probably retired now. They probably be a good person to take with you. It's up to you. You definitely want to ensure that you're taking somebody though who can calm you down and who can step in without the emotions of what's going on, and continue to keep everything going. If you or a spouse or a family member can attend, then you definitely can again ask that therapist or somebody trusted, the consultant that you hired to go, whoever you feel will advocate the best for your child. You should inform them as well as the school board or panel, whomever is doing this IEP, that this person is coming and standing in for you. So it's not a barrier or they'll need to reschedule anything. But preferably, of course, you should be there. Ask questions if you don't understand what terms are being used. If necessary, arrange a meeting with the individual after to review everything that you need. So after the meeting, you can schedule an individual with the principal or the special education teacher or your child regular teacher, or the consultant. Like, all those things are important. Try to stay focused within the meeting. Try to remain positive within the meeting. Again, this is not a reprimand. An IEP is definitely something that can be beneficial to your child if they need it. If anyone becomes frustrated or angry within the meeting, have a separate meeting, postpone the meeting, take a pause, take a break. Once we start interacting with children and we can get emotional, tempers can flare, and things can potentially get out of hand because, of course, you want what's best for your child, and you're thinking like, I don't want my child to be labeled, or just different things can happen. So take a break, pause, and come back to it if you need to. It's hard to develop an IEP when emotions are taking over the process. Again, this is what's best for the child. Remember that you can sign and show your participation in the meeting, but you don't have to agree to different goals. You can object, you can make changes to any goal setting. All those things are definitely important. You can take the IEP home, review it, get input, and return it later. So if you don't have a consultant with you, you can definitely say, I want to have somebody else to look at this. So you take that information, you hire somebody, and you set another meeting once that consultant looked at it, or your aunt or uncle that been in school system for a long time and just retired, they can even look at it for you. So once that happens, you can set another meeting and say, all right, cool, I want to change this, or I want to keep everything that's in this IEP. So it's all up to you what's benefit for you and your child. Definitely appreciate you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Drop me a question or comment, or send me an email if you have questions about the IEP. Definitely appreciate you. www.mentoheal.com, www.mentoheal.com.